everyone. This is Dan Stass at Flagstone Financial Management, and I thought I would give you a few pros and cons of Roth conversions today. It's a topic that a lot of people think about towards the end of the year when they're doing their tax planning, but it's helpful to actually think about it throughout the year so that you aren't making a last minute decision with your tax preparer when there's deadlines coming up. So let's talk through essentially what a Roth conversion is. It's when you take money from a traditional IRA and you put it into a Roth IRA. You just move it over to a Roth IRA. It's not a contribution to the Roth. It's just a transfer between the traditional and the Roth. And when you do that, you pay tax on whatever portion you're moving from the traditional IRA to the Roth IRA. You don't have to do your entire traditional IRA. You can do just a portion. And that's usually what we see is we're just doing it in chunks. So when you do that, you pay income tax on whatever portion you moved. So why would a person want to do that? One reason would be because a person is in a lower income tax bracket now than what they think they'll be at in the future. When you take this money out several years down the road from the Roth IRA after you've converted it, then it won't be taxed at that time. So you're choosing to pay taxes at today's rates instead of future tax rates. So if you're in, let's say the 22% bracket now, but you think you're going to be in the 32% bracket later in life, then it probably does make sense to take money out of that traditional IRA now, pay tax at a lower percentage, and then you can let it grow tax-free in that Roth for the future. Another reason you might want to do a Roth conversion, even if you think you're going to be in a similar tax bracket later on, is if you don't have any money or if you just have low balances in a Roth IRA today. So when a person's retired, it can be pretty advantageous to have three buckets of money to choose from. There might be reasons you're trying to control the amount of taxable income that you have in retirement. And if you have money in a pre-tax bucket, like a traditional IRA, an after-tax bucket, like a Roth IRA, and then some non-retirement money, you can use those three tools to really kind of control what your income is in retirement. But if you don't have any money in the Roth IRA, then you just don't have the ability to do that as easily. So you might choose to do a Roth conversion just simply because of that. Another reason a person might choose to do it is they're just trying to keep income low in future years. So let's say someone's trying to qualify for healthcare subsidies in the future, but they need to use their money that's in their traditional IRA to live on. They're not going to be able to pay for life if they don't have access to their IRA. Well, you might choose to do a Roth conversion now, take money out of the traditional IRA, move it to the Roth IRA, and then when you take it out of the Roth IRA in the future, you'll have access to that retirement money. But when you pull it out, it won't be taxable. So you still might be able to qualify for subsidies. So those are the few of the arguments in favor or the factors in favor of doing a Roth conversion, but there's plenty of reasons why a person might not benefit from a Roth conversion. One of the most simple ones is having high income or being in a high income tax bracket now. If you're in the highest bracket, for example, let's not intentionally add more income when we don't have to, or when we could defer that income until a later date. Um, Another common reason is if someone's expecting unusually low income in specific years in the future, then it might make sense to do a Roth conversion at those later dates instead of now. So a classic example is someone who's retiring but isn't going to claim Social Security, or maybe they're not going to get a pension or have any sort of retirement income for like 6, 7 years after they retire. Well, that 6, 7 year period, they might have really low tax rates. So let's save the Roth conversion for that time and pay an even lower tax rate on that Roth conversion as opposed to doing it now at potentially a higher rate. Um, Another example might be if someone's taking a sabbatical for 6 months or 12 months and they're going to have low employment income in that specific year. Well, that might be a good year to do Roth conversions because you might be able to convert it at a lower rate. One more reason a person might not want to do Roth conversions is if they're really charitable, if they have really high charitable giving goals. Once you're 70 and a half years old, under current law, you can actually give away up to $100,000 a year per taxpayer out of a person's traditional IRA. So let's not do a Roth conversion, pay tax on that now, if instead we could just keep it in the traditional IRA and then give it directly to charity in the future and never pay tax on it. Let's get the tax-free growth now, tax-deferred growth now, and then effectively it becomes tax-free if you're giving it to charity. So we do have some people who don't do Roth conversions simply because they're not expecting to pay any income tax on their traditional IRA anyway. It's all going to go to charity. Those are some of the most common reasons a person does or doesn't do a Roth conversion. There's more. Typically, we talk about these decisions with a person's taxpayer. With a person's tax preparer. So, if you're wondering whether this is a good idea for you specifically, then let us know if you're a client, and we will talk through kind of pros and cons along with your tax preparer. If you're not a client of ours, then reach out to your tax preparer to have a conversation about whether this would make sense. If you have any questions about any of these topics, or if you want to get a hold of us and you're not a client, you can always find us at flagstonefm.com. Thank you.